tempest breathes and colors flow. Welcome to painting blue. Tobias perch upon the dong. It must be run. For chibi charged and songs be sung. No timid brush, no timid crew. We paint like thunder splitting through. He's defender who half divine, born of ink and turpentine. Samurai heart with Irish grin, lets the living ether in. He doesn't plan, just do don't try. He squints one eye, charge a chi, one fearless stroke, the sky turns blue, and dragons hatch from painting. Buck, 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 cock, nip-nog laid a fortune egg. Open up inside, it says, trust the flow, don't overthink. Follow the ether of ink. Let spirit guide the punchy while Boris grinds ink with teeth. Strike like a tiger, swift and true, just like Garlos would do. Step to the mic, he sets the tone with Mazzo's crisp meatball calzone. Italian gravy, grape drink too, broadcasting live. Microphone is here with you. From Japanese clan, he leads the way with honor. Sharp as katana spray through stormy doubt and ego stew. He brings life inside of you. So raise your brush like battle axe. Let go of fear and pigment cracks. Let art arrive from cosmic dew and roar it loud. Painting down.
Such beautiful music, brought to you by our very own petrified primate, Myro the Magical Monkey. Put your mortal hands together for his beautiful piano playing. And if you feeble mortal swiner have any honor, you will pay the monkey so he doesn't go hungry. Greetings, my beloved Japonaita, and welcome to another glorious episode of Painting Goo with me, your illustrious demi-divine host, Defenderu-sama, demigod of a Painting Goo. We return, of course, yet again to the homage painting, the homage painting. Homage? Sounds like a homeless thing for gays. Homage. Would you house a gay? I wouldn't. How are we? How are me, my beloved Japonaita? How are me? How are we, my beloved Japonaita? My vocal cords have appeared to be most rehealed. I still have a slight tingling in my throat. However, the black sake with honey helps. Brother Desmondo-sama, Brother Stabru-sama, Brother Printer Barosama, welcome to a glorious episode of Paintingu. How are we? Did you miss me? Is the village still standing? How many villagers did we lose this time? How many? How many were you forced to execute, Sabaru-sama? Shall you be committing seppuku this evening? Did you fail yet again to keep them in line in my absence? Oh. You will be driving Gu whilst listening to Paint Dryu. Excellent. Excellent. Right. Let's get some more green on this bitch. The beautiful... It's not quite emerald. It's a beautiful green. A beautiful soft green. For the carpet of Emmanuel's Hall of Oil. His Hall of Oil. How's a gay in a pine box? Oh, God. Would we kill the gays? I think not. Pedophiles, yes. Gays, it depends. It depends on what kind of gay. It depends on how gay. Those two fucking lads that were caught recently. Did you hear about that shit? Two supposedly gay men adopted a baby, cute little fellow called Preston. He was 13 months old and they killed him. I'm not sure how they killed him, but they abused him, and in so doing so killed him. Can't remember exactly how the little fellow died, but a pair of gays adopted a baby, cute little baby boy, and they killed him. And people wonder why stereotypes exist and why the general zeitgeist and the political and cultural atmosphere is rapidly changing when you have monsters like that in existence. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not a Christian. But I do believe in demons. Or preternatural forces? Is that what that Orthodox priest that was talking to Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson. Was that a Greek Orthodox priest or was that a Catholic guy? Must be like I'd love to shadow an exorcist for a few months. That would be an experience and a half. That would be to shadow an exorcist, because I imagine there would at least be a few times where you'd get a good laugh out of it. Because I'd say there's a lot of people who pretend, and then they have to bring the priest in to confirm or deny whether the person's behavior is actually the result of genuine demonic possession or just the result of them being super queer. This might need a few layers. It wasn't all bad, as I seem to have met a beautiful iron female. The irony. I'm going to tell your waifu. You better show her that cartoon and be like, that's you, by the way. Like, otherwise, questions will be asked, and I will not defend you just to see what happens. Few things would make me chuckle more than watching you get the shit kicked out of you by your black wife. A 6-foot Nordic Canadian getting his ass handed to him with a frying pan in one hand and a fucking baby's rattle in the other. Being beaten within an inch of your life for even thinking to commit such adulterous acts, even if it is in a fantastical island nation. Sadly, I heard, you heard about that shit? The profile and eyes of the Brachyphyrion are great. Such a funny statue. He looks like mesmerized. Looks mesmerized by the painting he does. It's hilarious. Hold on, I turn this a bit like this. Orientation is very important too. Too much. Turn it back. Stabaru shows up to the goo with a black eye. Nothing needs to be said. We know. We know. Oh, that'd be so funny. Stabaru-sama, were you caught flirting with the iron girls again? Just bows his head in shame. I cannot resist their chocolate goodness. You wouldn't even show up with a black eye. You'd show up with just like a fresh scar. Ah, yes, she is a good sport. She will Raph. I show her all the cartoons. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. The fucking, some of them are hilarious, man. The one with the Gundam was so funny. Some of them are so good that we definitely have to make that canon. Like, we have a Gundam on the island now. Like, that is without question. The fact that I'll be able to turn around sometimes and be like, Stabaru-sama, fetch me my Gundam. Hi. Hi, Defender-sama. Hi. Just comes back 5 minutes later. That'd be fucking hilarious. Okay. Right, what are we in the mood for today? Techno, metal, some ambient music shit, some ambient film score stuff, bit of Nematode. Put it in the chat. If you don't, I will pick myself. Need to raise this a bit so you can see the bottom kitty. You're missing out on the bottom, bitch. I might start doing it. Well, I don't know. I was about to say I might start doing a lot of them landscape because it suits the fucking thing better, but I don't know. It's just I have to go so far back to get the whole fucking thing in. But I suppose I could go here, do this. It's all about angles. It is all about the angers. Right, and then I can turn it like this. She laughs and gives me the "you are a big child," and I respond with "yes, dear, I know." Oh, we're all a bunch of big kids. That's what makes it so much fun. That's why we look 10 years or 15 years younger than we actually are. It's our youthful spirits. Think Stabaroo posted another 20 songs in your tardiness. New playlist in Chatu. Excellent, excellent. Please pick yourself off stream. You know what I meant, you dirty greybeard fuck. I just realized that I actually made your beard grey and it's like brown. Why didn't nobody point that out? That I made Desmondu Sama like fucking 30 years older than he actually is. It adds to his gravitas. Oh my god. Let me see. Okay. I know I forgot to put in. Right, so those 3 new songs there. Feeling a bit shit. Pax sit legende Bertarie. I do love a bit of Latin, me. Know yourself, know the terrain. Oh, how very... Is that Musashi? What's that guy's name? What's that Japanese samurai that like was undefeated in 60 fights? Was it Musashi? I can't remember. Right, forwarding those ones. You say there was a playlist though, yeah? Oh yeah, here we go, yeah. The Rise. Giggity. A playlist all about solving erectile dysfunction. Oh god. If you are limp, don't be a simp. Eat some shrimp. Do you imagine if that was all like those poor fuckers needed? You know? No pills, just a bit of shrimp. How like exceedingly ironically hilarious would that be? That the homeopathic method to curing erectile dysfunction was eating shrimp. Like, come on. Okay. I might need to just refrain from going to first track oysters. I may need to refrain from RARPing as Defender Osama for a while. I think my voice hasn't completely recovered. I might need like to do singing lessons or some shit to learn how to do that kind of vibrato without damaging my fucking vocal cords. Although I suppose it's probably just the fact that I'm kind of shouting a lot. So like I'm trying to make sure that you guys can hear me because I'm on the phone. But when I go back on the laptop eventually and I have Micah hooked back up, I can just speak it. I do not have to shout it. Every time I bring Micah on screen, it's just like so fucking funny. Oh my god. It seriously never gets old. I like that. That will never get old of me just like bringing him on screen out of nowhere. I couldn't have got that any better. Like, like his face is perfect. The placement of the eyes, the size of the lips, the fact that they're like parted a little bit, like his lips are partially agape. Oh fuck it hell. Are those three songs in the rise? Like feeling a bit shit, Pax, Sit Legendary, Beretarie, Know Yourself, Know the Terrain. Are they in the I suppose I'll just find out later. Right. Feeling a bit shit inbound. That's another thing as well. Like I need to get back on the laptop so the fucking sound quality's better for the music.
Feeling a bit shit. Hey, the sky's lower, higher tonight. Like wet wool draped upon the soul. No hunger for blood, no longing for steel. Yet every road has tribute of spirit to bend with the weather, or root ever deeper to be or not to be. There's the old
All right, grand, yeah.
marrow. The hedgerows whisper beneath iron rain. Roots converse in a language unseen. The orchard remembers, the winter forgets, and still the lantern burns below the mycelium knows. Below, the garden still grows. We endure, though the dark hangs heavy at the door. We laugh, we build, we tend what winter cannot kill. Oh, through thorn and storm we go, ash to seed and lead to gold. Feeling a bit shit perhaps, but the garden guards the soul. There are men who shout of endings, and winds that barter fear for certainty. But the old peat fire mutters softly, build the wall, mend the gate, feed the roots, share the ale. No empire keeps the morning, no storm commands the spring, and blackened ivy still reaches upward towards some forgotten hymn. Hey, perhaps the sky grows darker, perhaps the tax upon the soul grows steep, but hear me now. The ravens know the season, the soil knows the seed, and gardens are not conquered whilst gardeners still breathe. We endure, though the dark hangs heavy at the door. We laugh, we build, we tend what winter cannot kill. Oh, through thorn and storm we go, ash to seed and lead to gold. Feeling a bit shit perhaps, still the garden keeps its soul.
I was feeling a bit shit. For a while. All better now.
Benedicat Deus,
Resquiescat in pace.
custodiat fratres et sorores. Lux mania.
Did he just say lux maxing in Latin?
Benedicat Deus, legiones vertariae, custodes feri, boni atque pulcri, alter alterum, tollunt in lumine, faces portantes, per noctem mundi, in labore fortitudo, in fide pax, opera pulcram manibus fabricant, terrare novetur, per corda fidelium, et mundus melior, surgat ex manimas, nobite timere, fratres et sorores, quoniam nobiscum est Dominus, per tenebras ambulamus sine timore, lux eius semperante nos. Benedicat Deus, legendas vertariae, qui flammam servant,
Did he just say quiff?
eternum, bonum verum, pulcrum proclamant, donec regnum iterum ad pugnam sanctam pergimus semper non ferro tantum sed opere vivo semina bonimus pro mundo nova ut spes floreat inter gentes donec ad alterum regnum transeamus et filius dominium recipiat in gloria surgat lumen aeternum et pax descendat super terras.
Gotta love those songs where it's like, I don't know what he's saying, but I like it. Ah, welcome to Painting You, Dick Fordu-sama. How are you?
Deficiamus. Lux eterna.
quite epic. Me Reiki. Speaking of Rika, remember to Rika and subscriber. Smash that like button like it has insulted your mother. Busy honeybee weekend. They're honey maxing. Ooh, glorious. I love bees. When I'm out in the garden and a bumblebee just like buzzes around me and all, I just want to pet it like it's a big kitten or something. They're so fuzzy.
Mapped every hidden weakness, marked every secret route. There are traitors in the bloodstream, there are saboteurs below. Ancient voices in the cellar, pulling levers I don't know. The fool charges blind, the wise man surveys. Count the rivers, count the mountains, count the shadows in your soul. Every fortress has a weakness. Every weakness takes a toll. Know the ground beneath your footsteps. Know the weather in your bones. The war is lost before it's fought by men who stand alone. The enemy I feared for years was wearing my own face. A phantom built from old defeat, still occupying space. Scout the darkness, name the fear, bring the hidden into light. Count the rivers, count the mountains, map the labyrinth within. Victory begins the moment you can see where battles begin.
They begin within, in case you didn't get the message. Being gay and retarded is a choice. If you love yourself enough to choose to not be gay and retarded, then you're probably on the right path. Tomo, Dick Fordu. Yes, I am. Still a bit. My throat's still a bit off. But yeah, much better.
Trying to find a way out of the anger. I don't know where it comes from.
I do.
Don't know why it bubbles up.
I do.
Like a monster waiting to be unleashed in a furious burst of energy. A warrior
fucking gays, man.
I search the horizon, I search the smoke, yet no enemy appears. Ancient blood memories awaken, exhumed into a silent world. Ghosts of forgotten struggles whisper through my veins. Why am I like this? I want the energy without the hatred, the fire without the ash. I want the strength without the damage, without the scars that always last. But a consequence awaits for those around me. They didn't ask for this broken man. They didn't ask for this warrior horse. I must. Fight for the love, fight for the beauty, rest the anger, find the glory, be better, more complete, no longer fractured by broken sleep. Turn the fire down, or turn it to the light. Find a battle worth fighting in a world that's broken.
It's a little gay. It's alright. I like the music.
They don't yet understand what it takes to be a living man. The sacrifice, the toil, the endless internal struggle of will. The burden carried in silence, the promises kept when nobody sees. The weight of tomorrow
Comes across a bit
balanced upon
complainy.
there has to be a better way.
It's called discipline, you bitch.
And I will find it.
Do some shadow boxing.
My soul, take through the ruins, search through the wreckage, through every wound, every failure, every sleepless night. I will uncover what was buried beneath. Not rage, not hatred, something greater, a purpose, a calling, a reason for the fire.
I like that part. A reason for the fire. That's nice.
Fight for the love, fight for the beauty, rest the anger, find the glory, be better, more complete, no longer fractured by broken sleep. The fire remains, but it turns another.
That's what I was thinking while I was listening. Love is far more powerful than anger. What's that thing? It's like a man defending his home is worth 10 men invading a foreign land or some shit. Very true. A man fighting for something that he loves is far more powerful than 10 men fighting against something that they hate.
Until the broken man becomes whole.
Still a little bit gay though. I knew you were going to say. I, I was actually shadow boxed. The reason I said that is when I was making bolognese earlier on. When I was waiting for the mince to brown, and like in between, like the pasta cooking or the garlic bread in the oven or whatever. I was shadow boxing in the kitchen. I say that's really funny. Like I do that every so often. I'm cooking dinner, but then like when I'm not in the downtime in cooking dinner, when like I'm waiting for stuff before I have to do something else, I just start shadow boxing. I told you the team, right? I don't think so. Maybe if he did, I don't remember. It sounds like just overcoming weakness or overcoming anger. Being a Scorpio? Not indulging in your bloodlust that's never satiated. Learning how to control that feeling of like every so often just that twitch where you just want to kill something violently. Feel its beating heart between your teeth. very metalcore. And it's not a bad thing.
Still the river keeps on moving. Year by year. Carry me, river of force, back to the ocean, from where I was born. What is lost, but changing shape? What is death, but another gate? The blossom falls, the wolf grows weary. Summer yields its song to frost. Nature never mourns a
Oh, it's based on the fucking Marcus Aurelius Meditations and the Art of War. No way. So it's basically Stoicism. Every current finds its home. Yeah, they're definitely not bad. They're a bit like generic, but that's to be expected of AI, like, you know. Like, I feel like I've already heard some of these songs, you know, because I probably have. Like, in terms of like some of the riffs and the breakdowns and shit, like, it's good though.
Consuming all it touches, turning grief to wisdom, turning failure into purpose. I have seen it in the ruins. I have seen it in the stars. A hidden hand rearranging.
There's a band that I probably played their album like ages ago. Check them out on YouTube. They're probably on other things. You could probably find them on Spotify or something like that. But they're called The Healing, and they like I can't remember what the album's called. Hold on, a check. Can't remember what the album's fucking called. I have their like I don't know if they have multiple albums, but I have one of their albums on my YouTube playlist, and fuck me, it's like really good. And it's very similar to this stuff. Like, it's
I probably like, yeah, they're like metalcore, but they're like that really like soulful metalcore. Where are they? Um, Jesus, they really are kind of like unknown. They're not showing up in the search. I mean, just typing in the healing is quite vague, but let me see. Um, where is it? Is that it? Yeah. The Healing Hollow Earth full album. It's only 38 minutes long. Um, like I think all the songs on it are like fucking like 3-4 minutes, if that. Like, hold on, I just want to confirm that that's it. That's the same album cover of the one that I have. But it's one of my favorite things um on my playlist is that album. So fucking good. Every time I see it come up in the, like, when I shuffle the playlist or something, I'm just like, oh yeah, because it's very metalcore, but it's that beautiful like soulful metalcore. Um, and then another band that I've definitely played a few times is The Sorrow, and like I think they're like Christian metal. Like I think The Sorrow, Blessings from a Blackened Sky, and then I can't remember what the other album's called. But my dad actually years ago got me both albums on CD, um, and then I burned them onto my iPod at the time. But The Sorrow, Blessings from a Blackened Sky I love that album, so good. And like when you listen to the lyrics, like it's pretty obvious that it's about like Jesus and shit. Like it's pretty obvious it's a Christian. Yeah, the Healing Hollow Earth full album. Progressive metalcore is the genre. I don't know why my one's 40 minutes 38 seconds when the other one was like 38 minutes. Maybe there's like one extra song on it, or like one of those intermission songs or some shit. But yeah, check them out. Like, so fucking good. If I haven't told you to do that already or mentioned it previously, like they're so fucking good. Like, um, that's to do with the latest model. It has gotten the mixing quality much better, but the inventiveness took a step back. That, and I don't have the time to iterate forever and ever. Yeah, well, like the fucking, that's what Vox was saying, is the music AI is like way ahead, or at least was in the past year or 6 months, was way ahead of the video AI, because like you could just go make a song about blah 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 blah, and it would make a decent song. Like chances are it wouldn't make like a fucking amazing song, but it'll make a song that's like good, you know, or even like, and it'll like it's like the better they are. It's like what I said a few minutes ago. It's like if the song is really good, then there's like probably going to be aspects of it where like I've heard this before, like because it is. That's what it's doing. It's just ripping off of like actual people's music, which like I get why people are like, oh, that's wrong and all. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like I don't know. Like if AI started like copying my art style, the way all those memes that were done like fucking Studio Ghibli and stuff like that, and I like is that really a bad thing to have a genre of computer generated images that are based on like the style of an artist, because that artist's style is so recognizable and so distinct that when you use a computer to generate stuff based on that, like it's like almost instantly recognizable. Like is that a bad thing? Like does it detract from the artist's work? like, I know you can make an argument that it's like basically like the whole copyright and plagiarism and, you know, but like then you get into the argument of like everything is derivative. Everything, like, there's nothing new under the sun. Like, every artist, whether it be music or visual arts, you're always going to have aspects of someone else's art because every artist is inspired by other art, you know? So, oh, hey, Snowy, it's absolutely devastating to the environment. Yeah, well, like, that's currently how AI is generated. Like, I get that argument. Like, the way we're doing it, the main difference is humanity. Yeah, like the way we're doing it is, from what I've seen, yeah, like really fucked up. Like, it uses a ton of water, they take up a ton of space, they generate a shitload of heat. I get that. But does that make AI bad? I don't think so. Because it's not even AI. Like, if we're being real, it's not actually artificial intelligence. They're just really advanced language models and programming models. You know? Like, that's all it is. It's not like, it doesn't think, it's not sentient, it's not like, you know, a synthetic form of intelligence or any of that crap, like, you know. So, like, right off the bat, it's like being pitched as something that it's not, which that's fucking everything these days. Like, you know what I mean? Everything, like almost everything these days, in the mainstream anyway, is an inversion and a perversion of what it claims to be. Like that fucking data center that your man Kevin O'Leary is supposedly trying to build in is it Texas or Utah or something, like, is like, how big is it? I think it's like, is it like the size of New Mexico or some shite? Like, humanity is shit. They have and will abuse. Well, I got some devastating news for you, Snowy. You're part of humanity, so I don't think all of humanity is shit because you're not shit. But I get where you're coming from. Lots of human beings are terrible, you know. Lots of human beings may as well be the demons that are clearly possessing them. But, like, that doesn't make all of humanity shit, you know. It's like the whole thing of, like, fucking, you know, niggers are pieces of shit. Does that mean every black person's a nigger? No. Faggots tend to be pieces of shit. But does that mean every gay person is evil? No. Plenty of human beings are wasteless lumps of trash that, like, corrupt, infect, and destroy, you know, everything around them. Does that mean humanity is bad as a whole? No. But it takes a while to get over that, you know. When you've seen the evil that some people are capable of, it can be hard to remind yourself of the good that some people are capable of. Especially when, like, the way they're doing it these days is that, like, they're intentionally showing you algorithms. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, they're intentionally showing you the Black Mirror, you know. You're being intentionally shown the things that bring you to despair. Opposing things can simultaneously be true. Yeah, the yin and the yang. It's all a part of the same whole. That's one of the reasons why I love the Asian cultures so much, is because the Chinese and the Japanese have that kind of, like, holistic view or perspective on existence itself, where, like, you can't just have that's bad and that's good. Like, existence doesn't work like that. Everything, whether it be a gun or a gay guy or a tranny or a fucking baby eating psychopath or a fucking, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's bound to be a context in which cannibalism would be like arguably acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Now obviously I wouldn't fucking make an argument for pedophilia being acceptable in certain, like, in certain contexts, but like, you get where I'm going, where like you can pick almost anything and there is a positive and negative polarity to it, because you could argue all day for, like, we should get rid of guns. Guns are bad. It's like, no, guns aren't bad. Bad people do bad stuff with guns, but then good people do good stuff with guns. Like, one of the main problems with today's society is the fact that all of the, especially in the West, the overwhelming majority of people online are consuming information that is mainly confirmation bias and manipulated and censored in some way. It's polarizing. Pretty much all the content that the mainstream Western media, like that's being consumed, it's curated for the sole purpose of polarizing people, to sow division, so that people will so that people will pick sides. You're bad, I'm good. No, you're bad, I'm good. Our way is the right way. Our religion, our God. No, our God. No, our football team. No, our football team. So on and so forth. Our country. No, our country. Capitalism, communism. Like, all it does is the red and the blue polarizing of the battery. What matters is the battery. What matters is that it's like the thing in the Matrix where Morpheus is like, all of this was done to turn a human being into this, and then he's holding a Duracell battery. That's what they, in quotes, the powers that be, feed off of. Now, I personally believe that it's like kind of like a meta consciousness, like a parasitic entity that is without body, or maybe it does have a body. Maybe there are like extraterrestrials or some shit like that. But I think there is a species, whether it be physical or non-physical, that preys on humanity, and that's how they prey on humanity. I don't think we're the apex predator here. I don't think we have dominion on Earth. I think there is something above us that lets us think we're in charge and just like manages us. And I think when you look at the broad spectrum of things, it's really easy to see that, because it's really easy to see how people are pitted against each other and polarized to such a degree that they're willing to kill each other over bullshit that you could just argue over. Like, you have all these debate channels online, like Andrew Wilson and Destiny and Vegan Gains and fucking all these LARPing gobshites who will sit in front of a fucking screen and argue, in quotes, various things, like just all sorts of bollocks. But they won't argue anything that actually matters in a way that actually makes sense. Because if you were to actually debate anything that actually matters in a way that actually makes sense, then you would eventually come to some kind of resolution or meeting point, or at least parallel thinking. But if anything, people are just getting further and further away from each other. Like, I saw a clip there that Asmongold put on his stream there the other day where, like, it was a journalist in the 1960s was going around in predominantly black inner city American suburban and urban areas, like, Harlem, Queens, Bronx, Philly, some places in Philly. and like was asking members of the black community, so what do you think of white people? And to a man, every single fucking one of them was like, oh, I love black people. Well, I love black people. Or I love white people. White people are just like me. I ain't got no problem with white people. If white people don't have a problem with me, I don't have a problem with them. They were all saying the same thing. They were all totally fine with white people. Then you cut ahead to now, and all the people going fucking chimpanzee crazy over the Carmelo Anthony bullshit, where some wretched nigger kid stabs a white young fella at a school over nothing and then claims self-defense, and then the nigger's family does the nigger thing by putting up a fucking GoFundMe and taking all the money, and they didn't even go to their kid's trial. Meanwhile, like, they're defending it was in self-defense. That those white boys were bullying him. Those white boys were bullying our poor black beautiful Kang child, even though he brought a blade to school, was in the wrong fucking section, was asked to leave like 15 times politely, and then proceeds to stab a young fella before he even got pushed, punched, or anything. They put up a GoFundMe, take all the money, and they don't even defend him in court. Fascinating behavior. And they'll play the victim and double down all the time. Like, they are essentially insane. It's the same as you see all these tranny movements and the fucking, the blue-haired woke psychopaths with the fucking septum piercings and shit. Like, 2 a fucking 1, every single fucking one of them are fucking insane. They are divorced from reality. They have no sense of logic. They have no sense of reasoning. They have no sense of, rational thinking. They are just programmed NPCs. And they've chosen to be that because of something in them that, is fucked. There's nothing you can do. You can't argue with stupid. You can't argue with crazy. There's a reason we used to have insane asylums. Now, obviously, that's its own argument, and, used to lobotomize people and all this fucking horrible shit as well. Like, a lot of insane asylums were absolutely fucking hellish places. But repeatedly over time, society tries to deal with these, massive societal issues. And every time somebody tries to come up with an idea of, well, what if we do this? And what if it's the right thing? Like, all this moralizing and religious talk and fucking philosophy and all this shit. It never works. It never fucking works. For the past easily 200 years, things have just consistently gotten worse. And that's not because humanity is cursed or humans equal evil. There's something else at play. And whether or not you be the spiritual side of it, and it's good and evil exist, and right now we live in a time where evil is kind of propagating in human consciousness en masse. But the other side of it being more secular would be the elites are on pedophile island and doing all this shit so they can do all the human trafficking and shit. I think both are true. And I also think that there might be some parasitic alien entity from another dimension or extraterrestrial shit past Antarctica that may or may not have, made a deal with some human high up leaders who do some fucking really corrupt shit. But it's all the same. So whether you're talking about AI or guns or fucking I don't know, what else? What's another very broad spectrum one? AI is the new one that everyone's bitching and moaning about. And I get it. For the same reason that I get people bitching and moaning about guns, Guns have essentially removed all sense of honor from combat. Somebody can just squeeze a button and end a life. There's no skill involved in that, really. Obviously there's a skill to shooting, but it's too easy. And that's what it is. It's convenience is death. So it's sad and it's tragic, but it is what it is, And you can either spend your life, and I've done it. There's loads of streams that I've done where I'm bitching and moaning about I hate these fools and these fuckers need to die and I'm sick of this shit and all But when it's all said and done, the healthy thing to do is what I actually do. Create, exercise, educate yourself spiritually, grow something, you know, tend your garden, keep a clean house, be good to your friends and neighbors, make people laugh, don't hold hate in your heart. It's not easy, but that's kind of the point. Every time we make something easier, it makes everything worse. If people still had to kill each other with swords and bows, maybe things would be different. But now we have drones. Now you can kill each other with fucking iPads. It's a bit sick, you know? Oh, looky, I got a crown. Nothing matters, sad face. Nothing matters, happy face. Yeah, like, yeah. It's kind of, you know, like the Tibetan monks will like spend weeks or months doing that like fucking sand mandala, and then they just wipe it away. I think the reason, like, I do think we were originally created, like, maybe not us. I think there's a chance we were created by some kind of genetic modification bullshit. But I think existence was created by some kind of supernatural thing. And I think the reason why something like human consciousness exists, because obviously there's different levels of consciousness. Like there's a noticeable real difference between the level of consciousness between a human being and an octopus and a dog and a whale. Like obviously they have souls, obviously they have a consciousness, but ours is different, you know? Like, I know orcas have languages and shit and all, dolphins and stuff, like, birds and all, like, I get it, like, do you know what I mean? But there's a reason why we are, like, unique. There's loads of reasons why we are unique. And I think that free will that we seem to have, for the most part, I know a lot of human beings these days don't even seem to, you know, exhibit the option or, you know, capacity for free will. They're just like NPCs. They're programmed. They're brainwashed. They're sheep. They're lemmings. But like, I think the whole reason for existence from our perspective is choice. You choose to do good or choose to do evil, and that's what matters. What matters is the choice. The choices we make matter. I've felt that. I've seen that. You know? Like, the most recent example I have of like a profound spiritual impact that I had between me and another human being was when, like, I helped Wendy get over her, you know, and she's not that she's over it, but like I helped Wendy with her problem of like, no, I need a plan. I can't just make something out of my head. And I literally got her to prove herself wrong in front of, like, you know, other people. And she sent me this whole long text about, like, you know, how she's like so grateful and she considers me a friend and all this, like, and I bawled my eyes out crying reading that text message. That's what matters. You know, choice, connection, love. That's what matters. I think that's the end of my rant. The best tunes I've created with it, I put the most time into. It is a tool that can work best when it is a good driver. Yeah, like, it's just like a gun, you know? Like, what is a gun without the hand that wields it? I love that line from Conan. That is strength. That is power. What is a sword without the hand that wields it? I fucking love that bit. It's so cool. The Japanites matter, and so do you. Hi, Stavros-sama. Hi. Very the Watcher from the Magnus Archives. I don't know that reference. What's the Magnus Archives? They're entitled to everything, ashamed of nothing. Yeah. Humanity cannot unanimously agree on things. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah. How funny and ironic is that? Like, humanity cannot unanimously agree on things. Yeah, I agree. Like, all of us would probably agree with that statement. Fucking, that's true. I think that's true, though. I don't think there ever has been a time, maybe Eden, but was Eden even a place, or is that just simply a concept or something like? But I don't think there ever will be, or ever is a time, or ever was a time where everyone agrees. I don't think that's how this works. Like, ultimately, I think we're playing a game, Like, if you want to get really kind of like oogity boogity about it, it's like, I think the reason we have choice is to make the right choice. And you can argue what the right choice is or whatever like that. But I think in your heart of hearts, you know what the right choice is. And that's why there's a difference between good people and evil people, because good people choose good things and evil people choose evil things. And I think the reason for all this is that something other than this place, something beyond this place, or something beyond other than us, call it God, call it creator, whatever, I don't fucking care. Whatever book you want to like espouse or quote from. I think the whole point is to reinforce the reason for existence itself. And what I mean by that is like kind of like the whole Egyptian weighing of the heart thing, where like you die and your soul goes to the other side, and then Anubis weighs your heart, which is, representation of like your essence, your soul, against a feather. And if your heart is as light as a feather, that's why it's called being enlightened. The enlightenment and all that shit is because negative stuff is heavy and it goes down and it's low in frequency and low in vibration, and it's slow and it's heavy and it's sludge and it's black, and it's the abyss that is like all encompassing, the black hole that pulls things into it. Whereas light is that, it is light, it ascends, it goes up and it expands and it grows and it projects, right? So on like a metaphysical level, without anthropomorphizing things to the point of like gods, because gods are generally anthropomorphized versions of like primordial forces. If you just look at a primordial force of light and dark, dark is dense and heavy and it pulls things towards it, and it's like parasitic, it sucks from things. And then light is the opposite. It is expansive and growing, and it projects outward. And when you have, so like when one of the basic forms of creating energy is when you have a temperature differential. If you have something cold beside something hot, in between the cold and the hot, you get energy. So if it works the same way with light and dark, conceptually that would make sense to me, that existence itself, like what we live in, this torus field of electromagnetic, the plane of inertia or whatever that we exist in, is the result of the primordial forces of light and dark pulling against each other and pushing against each other. Again, that's why I always go back to the yin and the yang symbol, because it's like, as far as like a visualization of what everyone talks about when you talk about metaphysics and morality and what's good and bad and all this shit, that's the best one I've ever seen. It's a spiraling of light and dark within light and dark. Because inside every good there is a bad, and inside every bad there is a good. And I suppose that kind of like, I can understand why that frustrates people, because for a while it frustrated me, because it sounds too simple. It sounds too like, that's it. It just is what it is. And it's like, yeah, It just is what it is. You have a choice. These are the options. This is how everything works. These are the rules of the game that you're playing. Now play it. And then you're kind of left with, like, I think that's where the frustration comes from, is like, so I just have to make decisions? It's like, yeah. Just make decisions. But what if I do something wrong? Then you do something wrong. How will I know if I do the right thing? Who knows? Like, if you ask yourself honestly, you'll probably know. Because from what we've seen with like narcissists and stuff like that, or like, you know, these psychopathic types, is they don't even question themselves. You know, a psychopathic narcissist doesn't think to themselves, am I wrong? You know, they don't do that. People like you and me do that. And I think that's one of the things that makes us like good or normal, you know? But anyway, I could go on about this all day. There are so many views and opinions. Yeah, but that's why I like to boil it down. Because you can get lost in the weeds, you know? And when you get lost in the weeds, you just get into semantics, and it kind of is like the devil is in the details. Like if you go really far in, then you miss the big picture. And if you're missing the big picture, then you're missing all the answers to the questions that you have. You know? Episode 6 of The Amazing Digital Circus, where they all get guns. I've never seen The Amazing Digital Circus. I can yap your ear off about the Magnus Archives next time I see you. You should. It sounds interesting. I've never heard of the Magnus Archives. Humans personify concepts to help understand them. Yeah, like I genuinely think that all gods, all forms of religion, like all gods, whether it be the Abrahamic God, you know, the triune God, the one God, you know, such an arrogant fucking claim. But anyway, like, or whether you look at the pagan or heathen gods, you know, fucking, even though they're only called pagans and heathens from the Christian perspective, which is again quite arrogant. It's like Norse gods, Egyptian gods, Christian gods, fucking even like hell. I know it's still within the Christian universe or Christian IP. But Satan and hell and the demons, they have their own. There's fucking hundreds of them. They have a hierarchy and shit, like, and whether it's a beast or a human or some kind of amalgamation between the two, it's always an anthropomorphization of something or some feeling or some concept. Like Thor has the hammer Mjolnir and he, you know, smashes the clouds and that's what creates lightning and all. Or is it Zeus who throws thunderbolts from, you know, Mount Olympus and all this shit? It's like, these are stories told to children in order for children to understand what you're talking about. But when we're adults talking about these metaphysical properties, that's where I can see where modern man, circa the last like 1,000 years ish, right? As far as we're aware, like our history, I can see where the secular types and the scientists, right, were like, well, clearly these gods aren't real and they are just concepts and all this shit. Again, arrogant. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that they're not real. They are, in a sense. So you can't just like science and spirituality are the same thing. They're, again, the yin and the yang, the up and the down, you know, as within, so without, as above, so below. Spirituality is above, if as above, so below, then like you could do either one. Like, you know, you could put spirituality down here and science up here, or science up here, science down here and spirituality up there. It's like they're two sides of the same coin. They are a framework of thought patterns that allow you to conceptualize and comprehend and understand existence, the rules of the game that we're all playing. And like that's how, like, in a big way, that's how I view all of this. Is essentially a fucking game. Because like when you look at societal rules and you look at law and you look at God and all this fucking shit, and like when someone turns around, it's like, I have a God-given right. It's like such a ridiculous thing to say in a sense. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like, so how are you going to prove that God gave you that right? You know, I have a, you know, it is, I have rights. By whose authority? You know, the government, you know, we have laws. It's like, yeah, but those are just things that a group of people agreed to. And then there was a general consensus of like, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, like, fucking, let's stop hanging people. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Like, and now we don't do that typically anymore. Some people still do, some people don't. Like, like, we should put people in the chair for evil doing. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then they do it for a while, then they stop doing it. Now we inject them with poison. Like, it's like the episode of Futurama. It's just eventually going to get to the point where it's like, please enter your fucking credit here and select a slow and painful death or a quick and painless death. Your choice. Like, it's like, in a sense, it's all nonsensical. But in order for any of it to matter, we have to make sense of it. So those of us who choose good because it makes sense to choose good, because then we live on, whether through memory or legacy or, you know, DNA or ancestral stuff or whatever. It's like, you can record good if you keep being good. If you keep doing good, people remember good, you know? People only remember evil for so long, and then depending on the evil, you could end up being evil, but then end up being good. Look at Hitler. Look at the amount of people who are looking back at the Nazis now being like, oh, fuck, I think they were right. You know, like, and I don't necessarily think that the Nazis were right. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were definitely lied to about a lot of shit about World War II. Like a fuckload of shit we were fucking lied to about, like, but like, that's my point, is like, the nature of evil is to obfuscate, to manipulate, to lie, to betray, to, you know, to fucking slander, to all of these things that make evil unsustainable in its very nature. And that's why they say good always wins. Because it does. It has to. Because that's the nature of good. The nature of good is creation, iteration, reiteration, discipline, growth, memory, legacy, ancestry, dynasty, destiny. You know, like, whereas evil is tear it all down, burn it to the ground. You will all be forgotten and they will only remember me because I'll build a statue made of gold. You know, like, and then somebody tears it down or spray paints a big cock at it and goes, haha, fuck that guy. Like, evil doesn't last. Like, you know what I mean? Sure, it can be fun. Not like, who doesn't want to go a bit nuts now and again and like do something different? Variety is the spice of life. Like, you know what I mean? But like, if you're just honest with yourself and you will eventually logically and rationally come to the conclusion that evil is almost like childlike in its nature. It doesn't look ahead. It only knows the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't understand, like, it's chaos. And good is the opposite. Good is maturity and discipline and forward thinking. And like, you think about things and people that haven't even come yet, and evil wouldn't do that. You know, evil's not going to turn around and be like, sure, you'll get so many evil empires. They'll be like, your children's children will be burnt at the stake. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because if you burn these people at the stake, they're not going to have any children. So like, when you end a bloodline, when you destroy a church, when you fucking, like, it's gone, it's destroyed, it's done. You telling me evil is going to erect stuff just to destroy it? You know? Evil tends to be lazy. Anyway, to circle back to AI fucking data centers and all this fucking shit. Yeah, there are huge negatives. Probably more cons than pros currently. But it's a new tech, you know? So who knows? Like in the next 30 years, there's probably going to be huge fucking petitions and reclamations, and like guys like Kevin O'Leary will be like, if he's not dead by then, he'll be sent to prison, and the AI center will be shut down and pulled back, and like there'll be new laws made where AI data centers can only be so big and they have to be run on renewable energy. They'll make them run on nuclear rods so they can be like really small and really powerful and not have to take up that much space. And then everybody would be like, I thought nuclear energy was bad. And it's like, yeah, well, not anymore. You know? Frustration comes from it feeling like a non-answer. Yeah, exactly. Getting lost in the weed. I did for like 17 years. Does nonsense still make sense to the sensible? No. Because the very nature of something being nonsense is that it's not sensible. So even if you are sensible and you know what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, if something is nonsensible or it's nonsense, it's nonsense. It is the opposite of sense. You define it and discern it to be without sense. So it not making sense makes sense to you. But the thing that doesn't make sense is still nonsense. So I get where you were coming from with that, but like you could describe something as being nonsense, and it being nonsense would make sense. Like when you turn around and you're like, that's nonsense. And then everybody looks at you and goes, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, God. Evil burns itself out. Yeah. The snake eating itself, the Ouroboros, you know. Anyway. Jesus, that was some rant. It's been how long has it been? A week or two since I went on a proper rant. Right. I think it's time for today's phrase of the day. There we go. Is this one? Right. With the help of my feathery friend Tobias Speakus Cross, I shall announce today's phrase of the day.
With the ding of my tiny donga, with this mighty songa, I send cleansing vibrations through the interwebs to cleanse you filthy mortals of your dirty, filthy cheek, and allow it to flow freely as I announce today's phrase of the day.
I was supposed to do that first, but lately I've been fucking it up. Right, today's phrase of the day. Never ask a man his salary, a woman her age, or an Orthodox priest who the sworn protector of Mount Arthos in Greece was during World War II. It was Adolf Hitler. I didn't know that. It's like, was he seriously like? So did the Greeks declare him that, or like what? Like, how did that work? the sworn protector of Mount Athos in Greece during World War II. In brackets, it was Adolf Hitler. Oh man, it's hilarious. I think it's so funny that we were all brought up being told that Adolf Hitler was like essentially like Satan incarnate. The most evil man to exist throughout modern history and all, like, and now the amount of people who are like, no, he was right. He was right. We fought the wrong people. We fought the wrong war. Look at us. Look at what we've become. It's fucking hilarious. How things change. In the space of one lifetime. Like, that's what's crazy to me, is like, it was like, what, 80 years ago? Like, that's, yeah. Like, that's fucking crazy. Within 100 years, the script has almost completely flipped. Like, that's wild. That tells you something. If a legacy from a particular perception doesn't even last a century without being like questioned and admonished and investigated and like speculated on and all this shit, like, that tells you something. That tells you something is up. That alone. Because like what I was just saying about good and evil and legacy and all that shit, like, if he was really that bad, there wouldn't be so much argument about it. Yeah, I'll have more tea with honey, please. Just black tea with honey. You okay? The sense of it making sense is making no sense. Oh man, it's fucking hilarious. Right, I am gonna give my voice a break. Go back to the tunes.
Every fracture of the heart.
This green is not green enough. Sayonara, Snowy-sama.
Suffering. to purpose. I have seen it in the ruins. I have seen it in the stars. A hidden hand rearranging every fracture of the heart. Nothing wasted, nothing lost. Feed me to the sacred fire. Let it take what cannot stay. Forge a better shape from suffering. Hammer light to break of day.
Well, one of them is I brought my one that I bought
This is
the
not my
ticket.
servant, nor my enemies to blame. I am merely one brief ember,
You must be
borrowing
under the stairs or something, or maybe it's in there. Why? What are you looking for?
what stands against me becomes the path. What seeks to break me becomes the cross. Feed me to the sacred fire. I no longer feel the pain. For the sparks that burst the cosmos burns within me all my to ember to star, star to
Don't embers turn to ash? Isn't it the other way around? Ah, Grifu-sama! I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I've heard it a lot, and I don't know what it means. What is TLDR? And I know a lot of people are going to be like, you don't know what that means? Are you retarded? I don't care. Tell me. Educate me. What is TLDR? The second somebody tells me, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I am retarded. Too long didn't read. It's that's actually hilarious. Too long didn't read. Oh my God. During the Greek occupation, the soldiers stationed at the monastery were asked what their intentions were. They sent back word from Uncle A that he would defend it. During the Greek occupation, the soldiers stationed at the monastery were asked what their intentions were. They sent back word from Uncle A that he would defend it. Interesting. So the priests at the monastery were like, "Hey, you Nazis, what are you doing here? What are your intentions here?" And Adolf sent word to the monastery saying, "My intentions are to defend it." That makes sense. I mean, if it's a Greek Orthodox church, wouldn't that mean that it's wouldn't the Zionists be opposed to that? Like Zionism would be like of naturally opposed to like Greek Orthodox stuff, wouldn't it? In like loads of ways. Obviously, I'm sure Torah Jews would argue no, because isn't the First Testament like isn't the First Testament based on the Torah as well or something? A Jew worshiper. Yeah, some of those songs are class. I'm liking the philosophical metalcore. Oh, excuse me. Oh, all I can taste is garlic. I made spaghetti bolognese. I'm really good at making spaghetti bolognese. Not that it's a difficult dish, but like, bellissimo. The Zionists would be opposed because Orthodox Christians are more known to name the nose. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, some Force 5 books. Yeah, because Christianity is like takes from the Torah, doesn't it? Didn't the Torah come first? Because like they didn't create Christianity until like fucking 70 or like 400 years or some shit after Jesus. So the stuff that Jesus would have been teaching, the stuff that he learned in like India or some shit at the time, would have been Gnosticism, Torah, alchemy, and stuff like that. Yeah. Spaghetti ball mayonnaise. No. Thanks very much. What? I'll have a look for it later. It's bound to be around here somewhere because I bought the exact same one. Yeah, yeah. So we've got two of them. So the other one is in the house somewhere. It's probably under the stairs or in there. I'll have a look for it later. I've obviously said that thing about spaghetti bolognese, haven't I? Where like when I was in the Gaeltacht, the Irish version of a summer camp, fucking one of the lads was like, "Oh yeah, I love me some bolognaise." We're all like, "What the fuck?" I've always loved like just like pronouncing words like differently. It's fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, bit of bolognese. Yeah, so am I right that like yeah, because like isn't the one of the oldest ones Zoroastrianism, and that was Zarathustra. Zarathustra. So like Jesus wasn't teaching anything new, really. Jesus was teaching the same kind of like moral good framework that had like already existed with like a few extra new caveats. I think like I have a suspicion that the reason why the Jews have such a good argument is because the Christianity that was written post Jesus Christ claims that Jesus is God, and that to me reeks of blasphemy. or what they would consider blasphemy. So like, I think that's why the Jews have like gained so much power and have such good argumentation, is because they're kind of right in a way. Because Christianity as it's known today, most of it espouses that Jesus is or was God incarnate, you know, which is what, like, apparently Buddha was God incarnate according to the Buddhists, but the Christians would have called them heathens and them false gods, and Buddha a false god, even though Buddhism, Islam, Zionism, and like don't they all pretty much acknowledge that Jesus was a prophet, at least, if not God incarnate or something, which is like kind of a circular argument of like Jesus, as far as Jesus said himself, allegedly, you know, because I haven't read the stuff. I've just like listened to people's arguments. Jesus didn't say, I'm God. Jesus was like, you can only get to the Father through me. And in that, he probably meant, no, the only way you get to, you know, the source is like these ways, which is like a narrow bandwidth, which makes sense when you're talking about frequency and all that stuff, and like the stars being music and all this crap. Like, it's like, that makes sense to me, the way there's all this noise and there's all this false shit, but then there's like a narrow strip that is pure. And even if the rest of it isn't like demonic or negative or corrupted or whatever, you could just describe it as that, as like not pure, diluted, impure, you know. But there is one pure path, and that's what Jesus was just like, no, it's like the narrow path. Like, to me, it just like, I think he was just like an alchemist, like a scientist, like, do you know what I mean? And that's why he was speaking in parables and stuff, because it's like trying to walk up to someone and explain quantum theory in an attempt to stop them from being a whore. You know, to you know what I mean? Like, to, you know, my child, you must stop these things, for you must understand that Q equals Y and Z equals 9. And she's like, but I've got to make money, and the easiest way to make money is by bending over for assholes around the corner. Like, do you know what I mean? And he's like, my child, I will tell you a story. You know, like, it's like, that makes total sense to me, that like he would have been boiling down metaphysical truths into bite-sized chunks of like comprehensible knowledge. Like those aha moments where like 6 or 7 or 12 or 40 people could be sitting around him listening to him talk, and he'll go, no, you see, like, this is this and this is this and this is why this works, and like think of a shepherd and his sheep and all this, and that's why, you know, if you're a frog, don't put a scorpion on your back and cross the river with him. And like, most of the people in the crowd would go, fuck yeah, that makes sense. You know, like, and then that explains why he garnered such a following, and that also explains why the corrupt politicians and grifting, you know, faith grifters and religious zealots of that era would have hated him so much, because he was essentially costing them money. You know, like, he was on a metaphysical and practical level, on a spiritual and practical level, was competing with them. He was the competition. And the more people he convinced of his perspective on things, the more people were like, yeah, he's right. why did we have to kill my goat? Like, I loved that goat. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, like that just makes sense to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like there would have been just a lot of dickheads at the time who were like, we need to get rid of this Jesus guy. Like, he's causing us a lot of bother. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the same way Owen Benjamin got blacklisted from Hollywood. Like, oh my God, if he doesn't shut his mouth, like, we're gonna lose so much progress. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, that makes sense. It doesn't mean Jesus was God incarnate, but like that also makes sense. It's like that's how they got away with it. That's how they got away with perverting everything. Was brutally murdering all of his apostles over the next 7 decades or some shit, hunting them down and brutally murderizing them, and then perverting the teachings by writing a book and calling it Christianity, and then claiming that he thought he was God. He claimed to be God. He said he was God, and he was right. He was God. And then that's how you get the whole demiurge antichrist thing. Is like they probably will in the next maybe 100 years or some shit like that, with the advantage of holograms and AI and androids and all this stuff. They'll probably make a fucking robot, dress him up as a fucking hippie in sandals, and send it. Could you imagine how fucking easy it would be? In a sense, I know it wouldn't be easy, but dude, that would totally work, right? If you had the computational and memory power of AI, right? Algorithm, what do you call them? Large language models, right? And if you had a robot, an android, that was just believable enough, especially most people don't get to see it up close, kind of like the Pope. Do you know what I mean? It's like only if you really put the effort in will you get to kiss his fucking hand or some shit like that. You keep him up on a podium, you keep him behind bulletproof glass and shit like that most of the time. You'll be able to get away with convincing a fuckload of people that thing isn't a robot, it's actually a guy. And that thing will be able to recite scripture like nobody's business. That thing will be able to make supposedly logical and rational arguments for all sorts of bullshit. That thing will have way more of a computational power as far as IQ or intellect goes than your average human being. Especially when you have all these people who were brought up on fucking Soylent Green shit. You know? You make an entire population live in a Judge Dredd style megacity. You make them as dumb as shit, and then you put a robot in front of them claiming to be God, or the return, the return of Christ. That would totally work. That would totally work. I don't care what anyone says. I'm right about that. That would fucking work. Oh. Millions of people. Massive fucking Madison Square Garden style fucking stadiums full of people. This fucking android in a robe with hippie style hair and sandals, just, my children. I'm calling it now. That's where all this is headed. That's where all of this is headed. Is that they're going to put all known what's it called? I suppose you could call it esoteric, but what's it called? They could put all known ontological knowledge into an AI, into an android. And that would totally work. They could probably pull it off now. You know? The most advanced synthetic skin, you know, facial fucking like all the different if all he had to do most of the time was stand and preach, oh man, they could totally pull that off now. And it would still have the uncanny valley vibe to it, but they could probably make it look real. You know? They could probably make it look real. That's totally where all this is going. Like, for sure. That's what I would do. Like, that like, if I was them, that's what I would do. I'd be like, we don't even need a guy. We could just fucking, like fucking Cortana chip in the back of Master Chief's helmet style thing. They could just, like, slot, like, they could put all known fucking, like the secular, like, real version of the Akashic record just in a chip and just slot it in the back of this thing's head and just like, oh, like, my children, I have returned, and all, like. And then, like, when it needs to perform miracles, it's just like a magic show. All the people that he performs miracles on are in on it, and like all the miracles are essentially just magic tricks, special effects, holograms, lasers, like trapdoors, all sorts of crap. Totally doable. Totally fucking doable. Probably wouldn't even cost that much compared to some of the shit that they're doing right now. Be very entertaining. Don't get me wrong, like, it'd be very entertaining. Jesus' ministry was to establish the new covenant that cut out the Jews who squandered their inheritance under God. You nailed it. The Pharisees and scribes were spiritual grifters who were gatekeeping access to God. That's not, I've never even read the Bible. I just, like, listen. I just listen. I'm like that. I'm like fucking Antonio Banderas out of the 13th Warrior. How do you know our language? I listened. That's one of my favorite lines out of anything ever. How do you know our language? I listened. I really want to watch Passion of the Christ. I've only ever seen it once, and, like, I didn't really pay attention. But I think that's the Gravel. I think that's what the Gravel is. And I fucking love Mel Gibson, but isn't Mel Gibson one of those guys that, like, he thinks Jesus came, like, he genuinely believes the story that Jesus came back from the dead and he was God incarnate. He was the Son of God and also God incarnate, or so, I don't know, like. And that again as well, it's like, what if that was a magic trick? What if one of the reasons they hated him so fucking much was that he duped them? Like, they were masters of the dupe. They were masters of the con. They were master con artists. They were conning all the people, and they were convincing everyone that they needed a middleman between them and source, between them and God consciousness and the spiritual realm, whatever, like. And here comes Jesus, and he's like, no, like, you can do it. The kingdom of God is within, and, like, blah, 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 and teaches all this shit, right? So they start losing their audiences. They start losing subscriptions. People start unsubscribing and unfollowing their way of doing things, right? And then he has the balls to go in and start whipping people and fucking turning the tables upside down and being like, you people are a disgrace, you're blasphemers, you're you're the synagogue of Satan and all, like you're evil people, like, and then because he went that far, that would have been illegal at the time. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's where they got him. They got him on a technicality. They got him on a legal technicality where they were like, excuse me, Romans, this hippie has broken the law. And the Romans were like, well, technically, you're breaking the law, but we let you away with it because, give unto Caesar. Like, you can see it play out where like the Romans would have been like, nah, if we kill Jesus, we're going to have a riot on our hands. And he didn't necessarily do anything wrong because you guys are being hypocrites, because we all know that we take a piece of the pie from all of these sacrificial rituals that you guys do. Like the only reason you guys have all of this fucking wealth and, reputational clout and societal clout and like fucking what would it be, like pull, like the only reason they have so much pull in society is because the Romans allow it, because the Romans benefit from it, right? So the Romans would have been between a rock and a hard place, where they would have been like, killing Jesus will make him a martyr to like all these people and cause a riot. And we're already dealing with a lot of bullshit. And he didn't really do anything wrong. And you guys are hypocrites. But we have the monopoly of force. So, like, you know what I mean? And then the Jews would probably turn around and be like, the Jews would have had all their secrets. The Jews would have been able to blackmail some of the senators. The Jews would have been able to fucking, like, well, if you don't kill him, we'll do this, this, and this. And then the Roman Senate at the time and the soldiers and the generals and the emperor at the time would have been like, oh, for fuck's sake, these fucking Jews. Like, if we don't kill Jesus, then we have all this to deal with. If we do kill Jesus, then we have all this to deal with. Lesser of two evils, crucify Jesus, That just makes so much sense to me. That just makes a ton of sense to me, like. AI Robo Jesus would say Israel is our greatest ally. And who programmed that AI? Yeah, like, that's like, you could just imagine like AI Robo Jesus, just my children, and then like thousands of people in the stadium just like, and all like, like amen, 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 like, and it's like, shush, and they all like fucking get on their knees or some shit, and they're all like, oh, fucking like, and then just like behind the curtain is just some fucking Ira type like, like, oh man, give it a read, Defender. I fucking, yeah, I tried. Boring. I want a real one though. The one that somebody gave me was like an abridged version. I want a proper one. I want like an old one. Like a real one. Not just like, not one that you could pick up in a hotel. I want one that's like a proper one. Like, what's the one that's supposed to be like the most legit one? Is it King James? The King James Bible is supposed to be like the legit one. I'm assuming you have the Passion of Christ on Plex. Like, I would literally call you a blasphemer if you didn't. Call yourself a Jehovah's Witness. Don't even have the Passion of the Christ on Plex. It'd actually be so funny. I'd never let you live that down. He's working on the resurrection, isn't he? Mel Gibson. That's what he was talking about when he was on Joe Rogan. I keep seeing clips from that stream. I keep seeing shorts on YouTube. Because, like, I do watch, like, obviously, I mean, I wouldn't know half the shit that I do know otherwise. I do watch, like, I was only watching a fucking Orthodox Christian dude there the other day. And, like, they're really cool looking. Like, the fucking beard and the shawl and, like, the way he speaks. They're very charismatic. Very charismatic. And they're really cool looking. But it's all the same to me, like. You know? It may as well be a Sikh talking about fucking Ganesh, like, or some shit, like, you know, it's like the Kali Yuga and all, like, it's all the same, like. I know it's not literally all the same, but I mean it's all the same in the sense that it's all variations of the same source material. Like, that's what I want. That's what I really want. What I really want is I want a fucking tablet from Atlantis. Like, and then, like, some kind of Guilty Spark 343 or some shit drone AI thing ball floating beside me so I can be like, here, translate this. Like, but even then, you'd, like, you know, how do you know that the fucking AI robot ball is translating it accurately? Like, who has the fucking time for that? Like, who has the time to, like, there's, like, what, maybe 50 people, if that, in the entire world who are able to read ancient Sumerian. What the fuck? That's not brown. Orthodox priests have drip for sure. Yeah, like, when I was watching him, I was like, this dude's awesome. My brothers also taught me to get jabbed and take pills, so do with that info what you will. Oh no, I have to go back and read the other one, sorry. I do not. I have a personal aversion to depictions of Christ. Oh, no way. Okay, cool. Hold on. Feels a wee bit of blasphemy. Don't judge those that do. I just got a bad vibe when it came out. My brothers told me I have to watch it. Yeah. No, I totally get where you're coming from. Because, like, it's just like Christianity itself and the Bible and all. It's all like do you guys, do Jehovah's Witnesses, do you guys just read the Gospels? Or do you guys also read the Bible? Because that would make a lot of sense to me if you guys only read the Gospels. Because it's like, that's his word kind of thing. My brothers also told me to get jabbed and take pills. So did it. Yeah, like it's so funny, isn't it? Like it's so fucking fascinating. Like Jesus is the way and the light, and in the next sentence, take your pills and clean your room, Bucko. Like when I was cleaning the kitchen earlier on, right? And I deliberately had no music, um, and no stream on in the background. It's like not that it was silence, but like I didn't have anything on, right? And I was talking to myself, but I was also like talking to God or whatever. Um, and I was asking forgiveness because lately I've been a bit off, you know, stressed, sick, frustrated. You know, like I've been off the devil's lettuce for weeks now. So like, and I'm only smoking like a handful of cigarettes a day, and like I'm like whittling it down. So like I've been a bit irritable, you know. Um. So I was asking for forgiveness, and I was saying that I'm sorry, and I know what I need to do, and I know what I should be doing, and what I should have done, and I haven't been doing it. That's my fuck up. And but like I don't just talk to him in quotes. Like sometimes I talk to like I like the idea of like all mother, all father. Like it's not just up. It's also where you're at and beneath you, you know? Like just the same way that like you don't just get life from a sperm, you get life from a sperm and an egg. I don't think God is just male and just up. I think God is also female and down. So like when I'm talking to whatever it is or whatever they are, it's like the ultimate feminine and the ultimate masculine. Like I'm talking to my spiritual mother and my spiritual father. Like the metaphysical representation of my parents, you know? Ultimately, that's how I see it. No, entire Bible and multiple translations we use. What do you mean multiple translations like Greek and Hebrew and Latin and shit? It felt like idolatry to me, making another idol which is against everything he stood for. His purpose was not to be worshipped as morbid dead man, hanging for all to see, the kingdom message sacrifice. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that what you just said there. I think the idolatry and the worshipped as morbid dead man hanging on a cross. That's what has allowed that's what gives the Jews the argument. Now they probably made that up, like you know what I mean, with the help of the Romans or some shit, like But that's why they get away with it. Because you have all these Christians are like, no, Jesus is God, and like right there and then. Like fucking like, could you imagine being Jesus on the other side the past 2,000 years, just sitting there like, like, just like, bro's like after rubbing two fucking like huge trenches in his fucking in his forehead, like just from just the stress of just like rubbing his fucking eyebrows, like and his temples, like he's just like, like,
That's not what I said.
like, oh man. In that sense, I think it would be cool. Imagine if Jesus did come back as some kind of like avenging angel, like Michael or Gabriel style, like, do you know what I mean? Where like, because like those stories are fucking awesome. Where like this cataclysmic sound or horn or flash of light, and like Michael descends and starts like just wrecking shit, like killing demons left, right, and center with a flaming sword and all this stuff, like. Can you imagine if like Jesus came down and was like, right, that's it, like just started like homelandering the shit out of everyone, like. I'm not gonna lie, I would watch that TV show. like nobody respects Jesus. Like you can take the piss out of Jesus all you want. Like so, like I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually got away with that, especially with AI now, where you could just do a TV show about Jesus coming back and just being like, "You're all blasphemers," and just like lasers come from his eyes, starts fucking wrecking everyone. It's like throwing halos like chakrams, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a sinner, and you're a sinner, and you're a sinner. King James Version. What's NWT? Have to get a broad view to make an informed opinion. I use a reference Bible that gives me access to multiple translations. Modern translations are geared towards making the language easier to comprehend versus Old English, which would be easier for someone like yourself to understand easily. Yeah, like I fucking love to be able to speak Greek. I've seen a lot of guys are saying like, oh, if you really want to understand the Bible, you gotta read it. You gotta read the Greek one because so much stuff gets lost in translation. And I know you can just like use AI or whatever to translate it for you, like, but or not even AI. There's like dedicated websites to be like, this is the translation, and like here's 5 different forms of the translation based on this expert's translation and all this, like. Like part of me would like to read the Satanic Bible. Like the Satanist Bible. Is it the Satanic Bible or the Satanist Bible? Like part of me would want to read that too, like. Might not want to read it out loud. Like and then Beelzebub said, Hakatun Anak Fishina Managala. Fucking like, and then just this hand touches your shoulder. Jesus! Like, no, not Jesus. You just read my name 5 times in 3 different languages. Why would it be Jesus? he is said to return with the sword in hand, so we do have that to look forward to. The ultimate on like Donkey Kong scenario. The Satanic Bible is written by a Jew. Anton LaVey actually wrote the Satanic Bible? No way. And is that like the OG Satanic Bible? I would have thought that there would have been like the same way that like the Bible's been around for fucking ages. I would have thought that there would have been like the satanic equivalent of it, like from hundreds of years ago or some shit. Like, that's interesting. It's like, no, you're thinking of the Necronomicon. Like, yeah, like I would have thought that there would have been some kind of like book or text from the perspective of Lucifer from like way back when, like considering the Bible is like so old and there's been so many iterations, and there's like the Ethiopian Bible and all these old books and texts, but there isn't like the opposite. But they're like, don't the Egyptians have like the book of the dead and the book of life or something? Yeah, I'll pass. Well, obviously, I know you're not going to touch something like that. Who was it that wrote the book of demonology in the Middle Ages? Oh, yeah, it was King James. So the same guy who wrote his own version of the Bible also wrote a demonology book. Well, what king was King James? I'm assuming like English. Was he an English king? Like Britannica? Like old Britain? Or was it old yeah, it would have to be old like Britannica. Cuz America didn't have any kings. You guys fought the king. Americans fought King George, didn't they? Of course he was a Scot. Of course he was a fucking Scot. That makes so much sense. James doesn't sound very Scottish, though, does it? Or was that when like Scotland was being ruled by the English? Like you think of it was like King James of Scotland. It was like King Amish of Scotia. Like, the old blasphemous texts you're thinking of is the Talmud. Is that it though? Like I thought that was just the Jews thing. Like I thought there would have been like I don't know. I mean, because like from certain perspective, like from the perspective of Christianity, isn't Islam satanic? Because Muhammad was influenced by demons. So the Quran is essentially like a Satanist's version of the Bible, like in a sense. James Poofy Pants was English. Yeah, so I was right. He wasn't a Scot. He was an Englishman in power over Scotland at that time. King James IV of Scotland. That's such an insult, isn't it? Like, it's like when Obama became your president, like, you know? The American president, Barack Hussein Obama. like I remember when he became president, it was like, that sounds so bad. like that sounds so bad. Like the fucking optics of that were terrible. Like, for like anyone with a functioning brain, it's like, what do you mean is Barack Hussein Obama? like, so much for giving a fuck about terrorism. It's just a name, bigot. Oh my god. Like they're gonna make an argument that names don't matter, you know, like fucking hell. They really are a bunch of demons. Same thing. Apparently there were several inquisitors that wrote books on demonology during the late 15th century. Must have been a lot of activity at that juncture. Yeah, your man Solomon sounded cool as fuck. The dude with the ring who like learned how to control demons. That's what you want. Fuck all this like avoiding conflict bullshit. Subjugate the little horny bastards. Make them do your bidding. Put them on a leash. He was a Scot that became King of England. Yeah, like that's blasphemous in itself. I think we're coming up on the next round of witch trials. Oh yeah, more than likely. A very Anglo-Saxon name. Yeah, tell me about it. Amazing how your painting is coming along. Domo arigato. How are you today, Parla Slouch? The chandelier looks terrible. I need to do a lot of work on that. But we'll fix it, don't worry. It looks god awful. Rest of it's pretty good though. I think Emmanuel would have liked it. The way he's like painting two paintings at the same time, and he's surrounded by cats. I think it's, you know, from what we knew him as anyway, you know. Remembering it is a hot day, hydrate. Tell me about it. Yeah, it's like it's 20 minutes to midnight and it's still 17 degrees Celsius right now, which is fucking crazy. It's like we're on holiday in Spain or some shit. Like, it was a beautiful day today. Oh, right, I'm gonna leave it there. Say goodbye to Micah. Bye, Micah. Right, if you have any honor, pay for painting you. Yeah, my PayPal isn't in the description anymore, is it? Fucking I'll have to sort that out. So newcomers like Parlous Louch can fucking send me donations if they so wish. I'll need to sort that out, like put it in the description of videos or some shit like that. I need to put my PayPal in there. But the rest of you know the drill. Pay for painting you, or you have no honor. 30 degrees here today. Celsius, yeah? Did you put that in Celsius or Fahrenheit? Because that's like 30 degrees Fahrenheit's fucking cold, isn't it? Oops, keep forgetting how different your time zone is. Yeah, you get used to it after a while. Trust me. Like, all of these fuckers are American. Well, apart from the Canadian. Yeah, like, how funny is that? You're all American apart from one Canadian. And then, like, Snowy's basically Irish. Like, she's Chinese, but, like, she's at least in an Irish time zone. Your mother's maiden name is Louch? How is it pronounced? Like Louch? Louch or Louch? (26 degrees Celsius) is pretty much like, yeah, around that. Yeah, around that. I'm Canada. Ich bin Canada. Loche? Did I say that right? Loche? Yet again, love the accent. Domo. Loche, yeah. Loch. Pacific Northwest has this O sound that differs to Boston accent. So, ooh, ow, ooh. Parlous. You'll have to do it phonetically. Oh, like couch. Oh, so your name is Parlous Louch? Yeah, so I've been saying it right, yeah? Parlous Louch? Obviously, it's going to sound different when I'm like, Konnichiwa, Parlous Louch. Ooh, Parlous Louchu. Long live the ginger-haired Emerald Isle. The Emerald Isle doesn't have ginger hair. Long live the ginger-haired Emerald Isle. Like the island actually has hair. I wish that were true. It just drives. It does in my mind. Every time I picture that island, there's just a ginger fucking like fringe at the top. Right where Sligo is. It's just like the very north. There's just a lot of red seaweed. It's just like more like radioactive swimming pool green chlorine. Yeah, like fucking I love how like magically green this island is. It is kind of like it's emerald, but yeah, it's also like you can also like you get like magic greens here, especially with the moss. Like whatever about the grass and some of the trees and bushes and stuff, the moss that grows on walls and like in the boglands and stuff is like fucking luminous green. It's beautiful looking. The north anyway, who knows about down south, am I right? Well, I'm in the middle now these days, so folks love kelp as if it's the next pasta or nacho. Is that a new thing? So it's not fucking it's not kale anymore. It's kelp now. Volcanic soil gives moss that luminous shade. Yeah, well, we would kind of have. We probably do have like from a long time ago. We probably have some volcanic soil because we don't have any volcanoes on the island, but we're not that far from Iceland, like relatively speaking, and that's volcanic. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, thousands of years ago, there was, like, some kind of volcanic activity going on or some shit, like. But anyway, I must arrive you now. Pay for paintigu, or you have no honor. And don't forget to thrash that Reich button like it has insulted your mother. Huh? Right. God bless. Be good. Be true. And be beautiful. And I'll see you soon.